Okay, it's exciting when you receive your first order on Fiverr. I'm going to walk you through what it possibly will look like. A buyer is going to send you a message. It's going to pop up if you have the Fiverr app on your phone. I have the Fiverr app on my phone and I just choose a different ringtone so when something comes in, I know. So I want to show you, for example, what happens when somebody sends a message to you in the communication. I'm trying to find a short one because I'm talking to most of these customers for quite a while. Let me try to find something that's short, probably somebody that I did not do anything with yet. Okay, let's find somebody. Let's find someone. Let's find somebody real quick. Okay, so a buyer is going to communicate with you on Fiverr, and more than likely, they're going to tell you exactly what they want. So let's go through this. You got your first order, and for example, this is you. So this client is saying, I am currently searching a VA that can place 250 listing appointment calls weekly with expectations to scale up in the future. I will provide the script and data for the calls. Successful closing will result in bonuses for work done. Your experience is awesome, and I would love to speak with you about your level of interest in this position I am looking to fill currently. Now, if you want to, you can always come over to the buyer's profile. Sometimes you want to see the history of the buyer. If there's somebody that's been on Fiverr for a while, if they do not have a good rapport with other buyers, you can always see it under the buyer review. Like this person only has one buyer review 2 days ago. It says, great buyer, very responsive and clear instructions. I tend to do this a lot to try, to get a feel of my buyer before, especially if it's a new buyer. I do that a lot. But anyway, this is what the person said. I responded by saying, thank you for viewing my gig. This is doable and it will be my pleasure. But can you elaborate on the appointment structure you refer to? It is calling to, is it calling to confirm their appointments to make them, or please let me know the type of business, product, or service you offer. Now, because when you communicate with your client, remember, it's not just, okay, I'll take the job. I want you to always remember to ask the pertinent questions that you need to ask to get clarity on this project or service that they want to offer. Okay. So the client responded and say, oh, I apologize. I'm in real estate. I'm looking for someone to place calls for 250 ohms, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then I responded and said, okay, understood. Sure, I can do that with my present schedule. 250 calls is definitely within my scope. And this is just showing you a flow of conversation that you have with a client. And while you're having a flow of conversation, it's just to find out the scope of what they're doing, the time frame that they expect you to work, to find out if you can do it within that time frame. And last but not least, make sure that you agree on a rate that's feasible for all of you. So I went on to say, this is just a sample I did about 6 months ago because I always have these. I want you to have samples of work that you've done or your voice. This is a phone call job. So I have phone call recordings of myself making phone calls, and it does not have to have someone else on the other side. It just needs to have your voice because people want to hear how you pronounce words. They want to hear your accent. They want to hear how fluent you are when you speak. Okay. So without me asking me for it, I just sent him a recording, and buyers tend to love this. Now, remember, this is an example of how you communicate with a buyer. Before they ask, I give. So I also went ahead to say my $200 package will cover 250 calls per week, as it will take 9 to 10 hours to call them. So I immediately answered any question he would ask me about timeline. I'm telling him on the bat, this is what it's going to take. You can start with this package and I'll work with that. And I always say, let me know if that fits your budget. And the reason why I add this is because I don't want to run the client away either. I want to have further conversation with them. So when I add this one sentence, this here that says, let me know if that fits your budget, I want you guys to put this down somewhere. You can always have a template for a response to clients. And I think that's a good way for you to do it. So create a template from what I'm showing you, and you can just copy and paste it and just change the subject or whatever, but just have a template with these keywords in them. Because when I do this, if the client did not have this in their mind to pay, they're going to say, oh, I was thinking of paying X. Then you can have a conversation. Okay. So that's where I go with it. He said, thank you for the sample. I am off at XYZ, and he'll communicate further. When the person tells you that, you know what that means? That means you already have them hooked. You know what I mean? Now, this was at 1. This is like 5 hours after the client actually got back to me. Hope you had a good day. I will work with the script tonight. The data is in Excel sheet. And immediately when you get this conversation, this work is in the bag. You've got it. And this is what I want you to understand. I want you to have fluent conversations with your clients. Your response time is very important because some clients message multiple people. As you increase your professionalism, as you increase your expertise and your skills, and as your reviews also increase on Fiverr, buyers don't even bother shopping around. They know exactly what they're looking for. On Fiverr, my packages are a little on the high side, but clients still keep coming to me. And when they do, they don't anymore question the price that I'm charging, because they already knew what the price was coming in. And that's what I want I want your goal to be that, to start adding valuable product instead of clockable time. You know what I mean? Trackable time. So they can see from your reviews and your experience that, I don't have to worry. This is who I want to work with. I don't care what it costs because I want to get quality and value for my money. Okay. So this is just a communication, continually between me and a client. And I am just talking to them. I'm also giving tips of past jobs that I've done in real estate. I'm telling him what the ROI, which is return on investment, was. And it's just hooking this client. He's like, whoa, this person she knows what she's talking about. Can I be honest with you? Sometimes you just use Google to reply to somebody, because when you do it that way, they're like, whoa, I got to hire this person because they know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So that's my tip to you. I wanted you to see how to communicate with someone on Fiverr. And that's that. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go to the order sheet. So you have an order up. As soon as an order is booked on Fiverr, I want to show you something. This starts to run. Once a client books you on Fiverr, the time starts to run. Fiverr clocks your time for you to deliver before this runs to 000. If it goes to 00, it's going to be a late delivery. It's going to affect your profile. It's going to affect your level. So we don't want that to happen. Okay. So this client booked me for 7 days, and I have 2 days, 21 hours, 13 minutes left. Okay. And this is very important for you to understand. While you're doing the project, for me, I communicate with this client every single day. I send him a shared sheet so he can see what I'm doing throughout the day. This is a tip that I'm giving to you. Everybody who's doing my course, I want you to have this. It's going to be in the resources file. I'm going to show you how to share a sheet with your client. Once you're using Excel or Word document, I want you to share it with them because they feel so into everything that you do, and they can also add feedback on time basis without you having to message them on Fiverr and waiting for them to reply. But although I'm sharing the sheet with this client, I communicate with him every single day, and he loves it. And I do this for all my clients, and every single one comes back, and the projects get bigger every time. That's another tip to you. So while you're doing this and communicating with your client, if you're having hiccups or you find that you're having issues, these are always the right time to communicate with them. You never, ever, ever wait until the project is complete or almost complete to drop a bombshell on a client to say, I can't do this job, or I'm not getting the people you want to get. No way. On the first day, send them a report. So chances are he's going to change the sheet, change the information, upgrade something, or give you tips on how they did it before. I have had call sheets of over 5,000. And when I did the first 100, I stopped. I called my client or I communicated with them on Fiverr and said, listen, these numbers are either not good or I'm not getting the proper ROI. I think we should stop. I think we should re-strategize. And those clients keep coming back because they realize that I value money and I also value the product that they're going to get from this job that I'm doing. So I want you to always know that you need to communicate with your client. That is my first tip to you. Now, as soon as you're finished with your product, you see this green button right here that says deliver now. Before this clock goes to zero down, and I always want you to choose your jobs and a timeline way before you're ready. I think when I just started, I maybe had 2 or 3 jobs that was late. I was very inexperienced and there were transcriptions and they were killing me. But ever since then, after my 3rd month of being a freelancer, I never deliver anything on the day that it's supposed to. It's always delivered before because I give myself maximum amount of time. Okay. So before it hits 0, when you have your project to deliver, and even if it's not something for you to deliver, you have to deliver on Fiverr. So all you have to do is click deliver. I'm going to click it, but I can't send anything because I'm not done. And it says upload work. If you have a file to upload, click it, upload it. If you don't have a file and it's a job that's continual, Fiverr just wants to know that you click deliver. So just all you need to do is type in here and say ongoing job or job to be completed. But whatever it is, you have to deliver and click deliver work. When you click deliver work, it's going to reflect that your work is delivered. Now, if you cannot deliver this work on time, you have to visit the resolution center. Communicate with your client first. Let them know ahead of time that, okay, I'm not getting this project finished in time. I am going to request to extend the delivery time. And once a client agrees with it, all you have to do is click extend delivery time. They're going to ask you to explain why, and you click the button continue. I'm not going to do it for this because I don't need to. If you're having a problem buyer, sometimes we do, and you can't find a resolution for what you're doing, you still have to come to Resolution Center because it is going to affect your account with Fiverr. It's going to bring all your account down into red and you probably will lose a level. Okay. So if you need to modify the order or ask the buyer to cancel the order, and that's only if you're having serious issues on the client, you cannot talk to them. But if it's just to extend delivery, it's the same thing. Extend it, click continue, and you're done. That's it. But very important, when you get your first order, remember, communicate with your client to the T, get all pertinent information, every information you need to know about this person's company, their website, their address. These are very important information, especially if you're representing the company. If it is just for web research or whatever other kind of project you're doing, make sure you ask all the pertinent questions. But remember, if when you're done communicating on that first day, you can always go back and ask any amount of questions you want. As soon as you start your project, as soon as they pay for the order, Fiverr starts to clock you. The time starts running down. Be sure to take note of that. Be sure to communicate with your client daily or weekly so they know how your progress is going. And when it is possible, share a sheet with them. That is my tip. Not a lot of people do it, but every client I have love this. They do not stop coming back and they refer me to every other person they want that needs a service. And that's what you're talking about, growth. And on delivery, make sure you go over your work, make sure it's done properly and deliver your work. You can always communicate with the client, say work has been delivered, because sometimes they don't notice the email. And when you do that as well, it kind of nudges them to look at it immediately and leave you a review. Some people want to add, please leave a review. I don't. I never do that. I just send them a message and say, your project or your work has been delivered. I hope you were pleased. Thank you for using my services. That's what I do. Now that we've gone through that, I can't wait to hear your story when you do get your first order and deliver.